In the tranquil village of gold, dawn never arrived suddenly. It unfolded. The morning sun rose slowly, as if asking permission, its light slipping gently between palm leaves and resting first on the crown of the ancient mango tree that stood at the village centre. The tree was older than memory, older than names. Its roots twisted through the earth like veins, drinking from stories buried deep below the soil. Nearby, the river hummed old songs. Low, steady melodies passed down from generation to generation. Some said the river learned its tune from the ancestors themselves. Others believed it sang to remind the living that time was always moving, whether people noticed or not. It was here that Sefu grew up. From childhood, Sefu understood that life in the village of gold was not rushed. People walked with purpose, not haste. Words were chosen carefully. Silence was not feared. It was respected. Respect was the air they breathed. Wisdom flowed like the village stream, quiet, constant, shaping everything it touched. Sefu was raised not only by his parents, but by the entire village. Every elder carried a lesson. Every wrinkle told a story. His grandmother, Iyanandi, was the keeper of proverbs. She spoke softly, but her words stayed long after her voice faded. A child who is not taught by the mother, she often said while grinding millet in the courtyard, will be taught by the world. Sefu learned early that this was not a threat but a truth. From her, he learned humility. From the elders who gathered beneath the mango tree each evening, he learned patience. From watching how disputes were settled with dialogue, not raised fists, he learned that strength did not shout. The elders taught that every action left a mark, not always visible, not always immediate, but always real. They said respect was a form of wealth, one that could not be stolen or lost. They said memory was sacred, because forgetting who you are was the first step toward losing everything else. Sefu's days were stitched together with simple joys. He raced barefoot along red earth paths with his friends, dust rising behind them like laughter made visible. They dared one another to climb higher, to run faster, to swim longer in the river's cool embrace. But the mango tree was their favorite place. Its branches stretched wide and welcoming, offering shade, shelter, and challenge. Sefu climbed it, often hands rough against bark, heart pounding as he rose higher. From its tallest branch, he could see the entire village. Round huts clustered like family, smoke rising gently from cooking fires, elders moving slowly beneath the sun. Up there, the wind whispered. Sometimes it sounded like laughter, sometimes like warnings, sometimes like voices too old to belong to any living person. Sefu believed the ancestors spoke from the mango tree, and he listened. The elders often gathered the children and spoke in chants. He who builds a house with his hands, they would say, builds a home with his heart. They told stories of villagers that chased glittering wealth and lost themselves in the process. They warned that true gold did not always shine and that the most valuable things were often invisible. Sefu took these lessons seriously. By the time he came of age, he believed firmly that a person rooted in wisdom could never be poor. And for a long time, the village seemed to agree. Then the drought came. At first, it arrived quietly. The river's song softened, its edges shrank. Children who once splashed freely now waded carefully, eyes searching the water's surface. The mango tree's leaves curled inward, their deep green fading to yellow. Fruit fell before ripening. The rains did not return. Weeks passed. Then months. Hunger crept into conversations. Laughter faded. The calm that once wrapped the village began to unravel, thread by fragile thread. People whispered instead of spoke. Some hoarded grain, others prayed harder, a few despaired openly. The values that once held the village together were tested under the weight of fear. But Sefu watched. He watched neighbors argue over water. He watched elders sit longer in silence. He watched children grow thin. For the first time, he questioned whether wisdom alone was enough to survive hunger. One afternoon, as the sun burned mercilessly overhead, Sefu sat beneath the mango tree. Its shadow was thinner now, weaker. He closed his eyes and remembered. Long ago, an elder had told a story one few remembered anymore. A tale of a hidden spring, deep within the forbidden hills beyond the village. The spring was said to be guarded by ancient spirits, its waters protected from those who came with greed or disrespect. Few had dared to search for it. Fewer still had returned. The memory stirred something in Sefu's chest. When the going gets tough, his grandmother's voice echoed in his mind. Only the tough get going. He stood. The journey begins. Sefu gathered what little he could carry. Dried roots, a small calabash, his walking staff. He did not announce his departure loudly. He told the elders. He knelt before his grandmother. She placed her hand on his head. Go with respect, she said. The land hears everything. The journey was unforgiving. Paths narrowed. Rocks cut his feet. The hills rose like challenges, daring him to turn back. Wild beasts watched from shadows. Fear followed him closely, whispering doubt. But Sefu remembered. He greeted the land. He thanked the trees for shade. He waited patiently when paths disappeared. He sang the old songs when his strength waned, their rhythm steadying his breath. Days passed. Pain became familiar. Hunger sharpened his resolve, the spring of truth. At dawn on the 7th day, Sefu found it. Hidden between stone walls thick with moss, water bubbled from the earth, clear, cool, alive. He fell to his knees, cupping it in trembling hands. Nearby, veins of gold shimmered softly in the rock, not blinding, not boastful, but undeniable. Sefu understood. The gold was not a prize, it was a reminder. The true treasure was not the water alone, nor the metal beside it, but the strength that had carried him there, the patience, respect, endurance, and memory forged in the village of gold. The return. When Sefu returned, the village gathered. He brought water, he brought hope, but more importantly, he brought understanding. The village rejoiced not just because the river would flow again, but because their values had been tested and proven strong. Sefu stood among them, no longer just a student of wisdom, but its living proof. The rains returned. The mango tree blossomed anew. Laughter slowly found its way back into the village. Sefu did not call himself a hero. He simply remembered who he was, and the village of gold remembered too. For they knew, as they always had, that true wealth is found not in possessions, but in values, and that a life guided by respect, community, and memory is richer than any treasure.